Good morning, everybody. Call the meeting to order. I'm going to call the roll, Cassandra, or
Of course, Mr. Chair. Courtney League as designee for Secretary Chaudhry.
Present.
Mr. Derenberg.
Here.
Vice Chair Eberhard. Chuck Boyd as designee for Secretary Flora. Is present.
Chuck was
Mr.
here.
Gibbons is absent. Ms. Lala is present. Krishna Talur as designee for Dr. Wright is not here yet. And Chair Casemeyer.
Here. Thank
You have a quorum, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Well, we have a fairly long meeting today, everyone, so I appreciate your attention and patience. We did have some revisions, I think, which Cassandra sent out yesterday. So Alex, you want to give your report first?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair, and good morning, Madam Vice Chair and members of the Commission. First, just a quick revision to the agenda, change of testimony order for presentation in item 4 CIP. Calvert will be moving to the last slot. And then I'll be as efficient as possible and limit my executive director's report this month to one topic so that we can move quickly to the rest of our agenda. Over the past month, I and IAC staff have continued our outreach efforts to and our collaborative work with multiple sets of stakeholders at the state and local levels. One example of this is the final set of meetings of work groups or task forces conducted by 3 counties regarding the needs of their school districts, facilities, portfolios, and ways to fund the work needed to address those needs. In Howard and Calvert counties, I participated in the work groups throughout this fall and provided input and feedback into their process for formulating recommendations for policy actions around their school facilities and funding. In Frederick County, IAC member Mike Derenberg very ably participated on behalf of the IAC, and I supported by providing data and information as requested. In my view, all 3 work groups brought important questions and information to the attention of both state and local decision makers and have contributed to making headway in finding ways to better support the school districts in maintaining their facilities that they need to deliver pre-K-12 educational services and programs. All 3 work groups' reports will be submitted to the General Assembly and the Governor by the end of this month. A second example of our outreach work is the meetings that Chair Casemeyer and I had last week with Senate President Ferguson and House Speaker Jones to provide an updated picture of the statewide school facilities landscape and to describe the challenges facing the local jurisdictions and the state as we work to maintain educational sufficiency and achieve fiscal sustainability of school facilities. These were very positive meetings, and I'm optimistic that the legislative leaders got a good sense of the issues and needs that Maryland is facing in the school facilities arena. I have high hopes that this will translate into maximal support in the coming session for school facilities within what is known by all to be a very tough fiscal context. Last but not least, I participated last week in the Winter Conference of the Maryland Association of Counties, or MACO. Although I did not present on a panel this time around, I did take full advantage of the conference to have a number of useful and productive conversations with state and local officials, both elected and appointed, about a number of issues important to Maryland school districts and to the IAC. I look forward to continuing to deepen the relationships that I expanded as the IAC works to support 3-way coordination between LEAs, their counties, and the state that Chair Casemeyer has made a primary objective of the IAC, and that I've made a priority over the past 2 years. Only together will we move upward and onward, and I believe that we're making very positive progress. This concludes my executive director's report for December, and I'm happy to stand for any questions that you might have.
Any questions for Alex? Thanks, Alex. The consent agenda.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. This month's consent agenda includes the minutes from last month's meeting, contract awards, revisions to previously approved contracts, and an informational-only summary of deadline extensions that have been granted for the Aging Schools Program projects for which you delegated authority to the executive director earlier this year. happy to stand for any questions.
Any questions? Someone like to make a motion, we approve the consent agenda? Ms. Everhart and Mr. Boyd seconds. All in favor, raise your hands. Any opposed? Thank you. How about the information item, Alex? Anything about that summary of aging school program?
No, I will just comment that we've had a number of extension requests over time that we've evaluated and I've approved pursuant to the authority that the commission has granted. And they're essentially around delays in delivering some of these projects, often due to either materials not being available in a timely manner, which is still a widespread problem post-pandemic. It's not as comprehensive as it had been, but it's still an issue for many school districts. And second, sometimes delays in permitting. And it is clearly challenging for school districts to get permits move forward for every project they have, because folks at the county levels are also stretched thin. But we've helped facilitate getting the projects done, and no significant concerns to mention on those.
Okay. Item 3, Maryland Historical Trust and IAC Programmatic Agreement. I understand Cassandra and Heidi worked on this, as we'll be joined by Liz from the Department of Planning also. Cassandra, you want to go ahead?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chair. Good morning, Mr. Chair and members of the commission. The Maryland Historic Trust, which is a division of the Maryland Department of Planning, and the IAC entered into a 10-year agreement in 2013 for the efficient review of school facilities that receive state funds for construction projects. The agreement was renewed for an additional year and is set to expire at the end of this month. To continue the streamlined process, IAC and MHT need to adopt a new agreement. If there is no programmatic agreement in place, then the LEAs will be required to consult MHT on all state-funded school construction projects, even if those facilities really have no historical significance. IAC and MHT have drafted a new agreement for your consideration today, which continues the streamlining of review that the IAC and MHT currently enjoy under the existing agreement, and also incorporates new technologies that are used by both agencies today that were not in place in 2013. As you mentioned, Heidi did help us a lot reviewing this agreement, so I certainly want to thank her. I also want to thank Liz Casso for being here from MHT to help me answer any technical questions, because she is definitely the expert, Mr. Chair. I am not. And before I read the motion, I also want to thank Liz's colleagues, Beth Cole and Dixie Henry. Beth actually recently retired, but helped us get the PA done first. We'll really miss working with her. She was a pleasure. And Liz and Dixie have been just exceptional partners through this whole process, which has taken almost a year, Mr. Chair. We've been working on this for quite a while. The motion is to approve the programmatic agreement between the Maryland Department of Planning's Maryland Historical Trust Division and the Interagency Commission on School Construction.
Thank you. Will we hear someone make a motion to that effect? Krishna makes, and Ms. Everhart seconds. Questions? Liz, did you want to say anything?
I don't really have too much to add, to what Cassandra said, just that it's been really great working with everybody over there at IAC, and we were really excited about these updates. We're really excited to get this this updated PA signed and official, and look forward to continuing to work with you all.
Thank you for your help. Any other discussion or questions? All in favor of the motion, raise your hand or say aye. Any opposed? Okay, thank you. Item 4, FY 2026 Capital Improvement Program. Arabia is going to, and Alex are going to make a presentation. And before we vote, we'll hear from several 10, 11 of the county's spokespeople will want to make a few comments, and then we'll vote. Arabia?
Yes.
So, Mr. Chair, I'll start off with some comments and then hand it off to Arabia. Members of the commission, I would like to preface our presentation of the staff's 75% CIP recommendations with some comments about the nature of the 75% round itself, and particularly how it fits into the larger context this year. Compared with even the recent pandemic and post-pandemic years, I would say that the context this year is even tougher and more complicated than in the past. The facilities needs and the backlogs of deferred maintenance and facilities renewals are greater than they were before. The purchasing power of capital dollars is diminished compared with previous years. The fiscal pressures on LEAs, counties, and the state are greater than before, and revenue and funding options are more restricted than ever for counties. All this has resulted in greater difficulties for LEAs in formulating projects, lining up funding, and finalizing their CIP requests, as well as providing the information that the IAC needs to evaluate those requests. Although LEA's CIP requests were due to the IAC this year on October 4th, we had a record number of amendments and adjustments by LEAs to their requests as late as the deadline date for amendments of November 29th. However, in order to give LEAs a reasonable amount of time to review and comment on the draft recommendations and still leave IAC staff time to act upon that feedback before publishing the agenda for this meeting, we had to send out the draft staff recommendations to the LEAs on November 27th, which was before the deadline date for the amendments, and before all the amendments had even come into IAC staff. Those amendments generated the need for further analysis of some complex issues and has required additional conversations with LEA staff, some of which are not yet concluded on some of the project requests. The bottom line, therefore, for the 75% stage this year is that it is less firm and more subject to significant change between now and the 90% round in February than perhaps any in recent memory. I want to make clear that the staff recommendations presented today in the 75% round are very preliminary, not just subject to change in February and May, but even likely to see significant changes in February and perhaps even in May. Within this extremely tight and challenging statewide context of deep need in every single LEA and restricted resources at both state and local levels, these recommendations are as firm as any staff could create at this point in time. I ask you, therefore, to take these recommendations as the best possible proposed set of awards available in light of all the uncertainties and ongoing changes, to raise any questions you have about the project request so that we can incorporate your thoughts into our ongoing evaluations, and to approve these recommended 75% awards, knowing that changes will no doubt be required in February once we know more. Now I'll hand the microphone over to Arabia Davis, our coordinator extraordinaire of all things CIP related, to present the staff recommendations.
Good morning, Arabia.
Good morning, Mr. Chair, Madam Vice Chair, and members of the Commission. And thank you, Alex. Staff of the IAC are pleased to present the 75% recommendations for the fiscal year 2026 Capital Improvement Program. Similar to prior years, local education agencies' requests for state support through the CIP continues to exceed the estimated available state funding needed to address school construction needs across the state of Maryland. For this fiscal year, the IAC received a total of 202 requests, totaling a little more than $816 million from all school systems and the Maryland School for the Blind. The requests are, in several cases, for a combination of services, such as project development, design services, local planning approval, and/or construction funding. While we are confident that the recommendations being presented today have been fully vetted and reviewed by IAC staff and our state partners, as Alex mentioned, we do anticipate that modifications to the 75% round of project recommendations will be required at the 90% round due to LEA requested project revisions, reprioritizing of project submissions, and the submissions of additional project requests. To help guide this year's project evaluation process, staff have applied project status codes a little differently. This fiscal year, we have implemented a Z status code to indicate that the project is still under evaluation by IAC staff. This allows staff to continue to work with county officials to determine project eligibility and to better understand the availability of funds to better align and project out the final round of funding for presentation to the commission at your meeting, February 2025 meeting. If there are no objections, I would like to move to the summary of 75% recommendations on page 52 and highlight a few points.
Go ahead.
Alex spoke earlier about the needs across the state to improve school facilities, and I would like to point out that column 3 provides a small glimpse into the financial needs being sought by each LEA through the CIP. The request for funding in some cases for early project development and design services, the actual cost of these projects when submitted for construction funding will have a larger price tag. In August 2024, the IAC approved the FY26 CIP target allocations for each school system. While the target allocations are not guaranteed, they were created to serve as the range of funding that could potentially be distributed to local counties based upon an estimated capital budget of $280 million. We don't have the target allocations included as part of this summary, but in most cases, the amounts being requested exceed the LEA's target allocation. The next point I would like to make is that financial support by the county for project submissions through the CIP is required to be considered for an award at the final round. Also, please note that the approval of the FY 2026 CIP request for Crisfield Academy and High School Limited Renovation Project in Somerset County is contingent on approval of agenda item number 8. I will now read the motion, which is to approve the recommended fiscal year 2026 75% capital improvement program, preliminary awards, and planning approvals as presented in the summary of 75% recommendation details by project included in this item, contingent upon appropriations in the fiscal year 2026 state capital budget and the final approval of the 100% FY 2026 capital improvement program by the IAC in May 2025. Further, to authorize IAC staff to make adjustments to project allocations to avoid over and underfunding of a project. Approval of projects with a U status is contingent upon resolution of outstanding issues. Mr. Chair, I'm going to turn it over to you to welcome the presenters.
Thank you, Arabia.
You're welcome.
Before we get to our presenters, does anyone have a question of Arabia right now? Mr. Derenberg.
So I guess this is more for Alex. So are you kind of saying like having the 75% funding like at this time just creates more work for everyone because the LEAs aren't ready with the budgets and we're not ready? Are we just adding more work to our staff and their staff? And
Well, that is a very good question, and it is an issue that we've been wrestling with for some time now. It is looking like the 75% round being required to happen in December does not align very well with the local budget timelines or project decision-making timelines. It forces LEAs and counties to provide the IAC with information about their project needs before they're necessarily as finalized or approved and without necessarily certainty on the local end about funding availability. So it does make for a lot of changes later on in the process, a lot more work for the LEAs and for the IAC. I do think that it's worth the commission considering whether there could be a better calendar approach to the CIP process for future years, and a discussion with the General Assembly, because currently the dates are in statute, in law. It would take an adjustment by the General Assembly in a coming session, but I think that is definitely worth coming back to. Yes.
So it's resolved that we would have to make a recommendation to General Assembly to
Well,
tweak
that
the
would help.
dates.
That would help make it very clear what we think, what the commission thinks is the best timing. So that is something the commission should consider and discuss.
And
then
is
it
the
would have to go-
75%, is this stage necessary? 75%?
I don't think it's absolutely necessary. I think there are some benefits to it, but I think that the difficulties and problems have been outweighing the benefits currently.
Okay, so we have some work to do.
Yes,
Thank you.
certainly.
So do you look toward making any recommendations, Alex, legislatively about this?
Well, staff will be happy to generate a couple of options for the commission to consider. And if the commission feels that there is a better approach available that could be recommended, then that certainly can be provided to the General Assembly without a lot of difficulty.
Okay, but something you're going to give us some feedback on recommendations
Absolutely.
for staff fast. Okay,
Yes. Can
Any
bring
other
that
question?
at the next meeting if you like.
okay. Thanks, Mr. Derenberg. Any other questions for Alex or Arabia? Okay, we have several presenters from several counties, which I'll mention, who have up to 5 minutes to make a presentation. After they speak, we'll go back to entertaining a motion and a final vote. First, from Wycomico County Public Schools, Dr. Brian Ragour. Welcome.
Good morning. I'm Brian Rager, Chief Finance and Operations Officer for Wycomico County Public Schools. We appreciate this opportunity to address the IAC and advocate for our 5 funding requests. As you can see in our written testimony already submitted, a picture speaks 1,000 words by demonstrating the variety of needs across our school system that we rely heavily on the IAC to help us execute with a 95% cost share. We appreciate Executive Director Donahoe's advocacy across the state for more funding for school construction. In discussions with our local delegation, they've indicated that the state budget situation will be very challenging this year. Therefore, we must also advocate for the few dollars that are available for the IAC's distribution. Wycomico County Public Schools has consistently been a good steward of capital dollars. We have a strong planning team that utilizes solid facility data to assist our board in establishing project priorities. We're very proud to have received the highest maintenance effectiveness score in the state this year, which is no easy feat given the significant changes in the assessment ratings and process. And we were one of the few LEAs to take full advantage of BTL funds, earning the trust of the Maryland Stadium Authority. Wycomico is one of the only LEAs who invested $40 million of ESSER funding into capital improvements, which is reflected in our FCI data. Wycomico is in a unique position as the largest LEA on the shore. Our enrollments are significantly up, making us eligible for the first time for enrollment growth and relocatable classroom funding. Increased enrollments within the city of Salisbury's metro core is due to many large housing developments creating overcrowding conditions that the board is trying to address with a boundary study. Even with redistricting, many schools will still be over 110% capacity, especially at the elementary level where class sizes are as high as 30, which is not conducive for early learners or pre-K expansion goals to meet the blueprint. We were disappointed to have our target allocation reduced to $6.4 million when our 10-year average is significantly more. The revisions in target allocations across the state to establish a statewide reserve fund of $5 million only further reduce funding available for projects within the minimum $280 million IAC capital budget. The IAC's formulaic approach to capital funding is forcing local governments with already strapped resources to consider forward funding projects to meet project cash flow needs. Without forward funding, projects that have already received planning approval and initial design dollars from the IAC could be delayed or canceled. Wicomico has the sixth highest concentration of poverty in the state, combined with having the second lowest total wealth per pupil. We're having tough conversations with our local government regarding forward funding, as well as with our local delegation. We find ourselves in a unique position with our number one priority, the Fruitland Primary Replacement Project, being designated as a net zero school to meet the state's carbon reduction goals and not eligible for the IAC's net zero or MEA add-on due to the 5% concentration of poverty add-on, increasing Wicomico's cost share to the 100% maximum. We're excited to have received a sizable MEA grant to offset the solar costs. However, without adequate funding from the IAC to meet cash flow needs and other net zero costs, the project is at risk. If Fruitland Primary was funded at our target allocation, it would take 8 years to meet the IAC's eligible cost share. Major construction projects need to be funded within 2 to 3 years to meet construction schedules. We've historically replaced or renovated a school in a 3 to 4 year cycle, along with a systemic project. The target allocation doubles that cycle, and the soon-to-be completed renovations and additions to Mardella Middle and High would wait 184 years for another renovation. We do appreciate our positive and collaborative working relationship with all areas of the IAC and are fortunate to have a strong community who will continue to persevere and advocate for funding to support Wicomico's capital priorities. We look forward to continued conversation with Executive Director Donahoe, our state representatives, and local government to find solutions that will adequately address Wicomico's capital funding needs. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Dr. Rager. Any questions for the doctor? Anyone will make any comments? Thank you for being with us today. Appreciate it. Next, we have Baltimore County Public Schools, Leslie Lazari and Dr. Grimm.
Mr. Chair, Dr. Grimm isn't with us yet, but Leslie's here. Leslie, can you?
I am. I'm sorry. Sorry for the delay. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. My name is Leslie Lazari. I'm the Director of Facilities Construction Improvement of Baltimore County Public Schools. And I thank you. Good morning, Superintendent Wright, Chairman Kastmeyer, Vice Chairman Eberhardt, and committee members Chaudhry, Darren, Berg, Flora, Gibbons, and Lala. Baltimore County Public Schools would like to thank you for the nearly $18.6 million of state funds already committed to schools construction for fiscal year 2026. While we appreciate this generous support, our FY 2026 budget request addresses additional critical system needs. Our Baltimore County Public Schools, with the aid of the state of Maryland, is completing our Schools for the Future program, which exceeded $1.2 billion. We have embarked on new initiatives, guided in part by the My IPASS report, to address infrastructure and enrollment needs, when all the while construction costs keep rising. We are additionally dealing with maintenance backlogs and systemic systems that are nearing their end of service life. We would like to appeal the number one priority Delaney High School project, which is partially funded for construction funding. If adequate funding is secured, BCPS is poised to advertise this project and begin construction in the second quarter of 2025. This FY26 Capital Improvement Program state funding request is based on ongoing dialogue with our state and county fiscal partners, the school board, state and county elected officials, communities, and other stakeholders, and consists of our most critical needs. And I'd just like to thank you for consideration of our appeal.
Thank you, Leslie. Any questions for Leslie? Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you
Have a
very
good day.
much.
Surely. So we're skipping Calvert County right now, Cassandra?
Correct, Mr. Chair.
Okay, Charles County Public Schools, Mr. Steve Andritz. Mr. Andritz, good to see you.
Hi, good morning. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay, great. Good morning. Thank you all for the opportunity to appeal the 75% funding recommendations. Charles County is grateful for the working relationship that we have with the IAC. Specifically, I'd like to call out the great relationship we have with Eugene Shanholtz and Melissa Wilfong. and all the support staff at the IAC and other state agencies that we work with. Without these good relationships, things don't move well, and so we are thankful to have that.
Thank you.
Charles County is also thankful for the $7.5 million that's recommended with the 75% funding recommendations. However, we do want to appeal several projects. So Charles County is continuing to renovate our existing buildings in an effort to bring them up to 21st century learning standards. Charles County has one major renovation, a new school, 4 kindergarten pre-K additions, a systemic boiler, and a systemic renovation to state quads in construction and design. Charles County saw an increase of 397 students for school year 24-25, and we expect that enrollment growth to continue. Charles County has presented a CIP that offers balance between renovations of existing buildings, necessary systemic projects to prolong the life of buildings, and new schools to address the demand that come with a growth county. Based on the IAC fiscal 2026 CIP notification from August that Arabia mentioned earlier, Charles County was expecting to receive $9.2 million through the regular CIP and $1.7 from the EGRC for a total of $10.959. The 75% funding recommendations do not reflect 75% of that total. Additionally, it is essential for the school system and the county government to know how much money is going to be assigned to all projects. One of the things that has been very helpful in the last few years was with the 75% funding recommendation and going forward, we had the chart that showed how those projects were projected all the way out through 100%, which has been very helpful in discussions with our county as they're trying to fine-tune their budget because the counties also have multiple asks from multiple agencies. So that is a thing that we would love to see make sure it continues because it has been helpful in those future discussions. So to get right into the appeals, the first project we're appealing is the La Plata High School planning for a modernization addition project. This is a significant high school renovation addition project. It will capitalize CIP, BTL, and local CIP funds. We submitted for planning. It does have a Z status, and we are appealing for that planning. Again, working with our county on such a significant project, we need some commitments of planning in order to lock them in to move forward. The funding for this project is not starting with our request until FY27, so it would be 2 years early, but there's a lot of design work that goes on. That design work is going on now. The ed specs were submitted in December 4th, and the SDs are going to come in on no later than January 10th. And we're currently working on a draft with Maryland Stadium Authority for the BTL funding. So this project is active, it is moving, and obviously planning approval is significant for the jurisdiction in order to keep it going. The next project is the J.C. Parks Elementary School Full Day K Pre-K addition. This got first year construction funds last fiscal year and does have a recommendation for funding in the 75%, but not the full balance. We are appealing for that full balance. This is a project that will account for the demands of Blueprint. We are looking at renovations that add capacity for additional pre-K classrooms and a 3-year-old classroom, which is one of the stipulations. Charles County has worked actively to provide all pre-K Tier 1 students already capacity and some Tier 2 and Tier 3, and we are striving to provide opportunities for those 3-year-olds already. So anytime we have these construction projects, we're making sure that opportunities for 3-year-olds are in there. This project is currently completed, all design is out to bid, and actually bids are due this afternoon. So we will know how that shakes out this afternoon with the funding. But again, the balance of funding so that we can commit this contract. We're targeting a IAC meeting in February to start summer construction. The next project we're appealing is the William B. Wade Elementary School Full Day Kindergarten. This is a project that is a planning and a construction request. We have the design moving forward. The construction documents are scheduled for no later than January 30th, and the bids will be out on the street January 27th, with bid opening on February 27th. We're targeting
We've got about 30 seconds left, Steve.
We're targeting an April 20th meeting. Again, one thing I would like to comment on is it is critical for projects, if you're trying to get summer work going, that we have those early decisions and the IC approval so that we can commit to those. Next is Pickawaxen. All these comments are submitted in writing, but I'm just highlighting them. Pickawaxen is a systemic for the boiler. This highlights other projects that we've done, which will make a significant improvement to the learning area. So that was a funding request. We have a elementary kindergarten planning for Higdon, another one for Mitchell. We're appealing the planning on both of those. The last big one is the middle school 10, which is a planning approval. This one has taken some time with our developer and our county for a master plan amendment, which is approved and is moving forward. But again, as a growth county, the approvals for new schools are critical so that we can plan those because they take so long to move forward. So again, I summarize quickly, but the documents are all provided in writing. But again, thank you for the working relationship we have, and we continue to work. But meeting those target allocations and fulfilling them are important for the jurisdiction. So thank you for your time.
Thank you. Any questions for Mr. Hendricks? Thank you very much. Have a nice day. Next, we have Frederick County Public Schools, Jessica Fitzwater. Welcome.
Good morning. I'm Frederick County Executive Jessica Fitzwater, and it is a pleasure to join you this morning. I'm here to express my strong support for the FY26 school construction projects as submitted in priority order by Frederick County Board of Education, and I'm here to appeal for additional state funding participation in FY26. Frederick County will match the state's commitment with our local share of funding. We forward fund the state share of projects until the state can pay us back. We legislatively mandate an annual inflationary increases to local sources of dedicated revenue for new school capacity. And this year in FY25, I proposed an additional 5 cents in property tax revenue be dedicated to aging school replacements and modernizations. And with the majority of the county council and our community overwhelmingly supporting this initiative. So Frederick County is positioned to accelerate school construction. However, we do need the IAC's help with a more aggressive state LP and funding participation schedule. I do want to publicly thank Commissioner Mike Derenberg and Executive Director Alex Donahue for participating and providing technical expertise on our local school construction master plan work group. This group was established by HB 1016 and has been meeting since August, and we really appreciate the participation and insight of the IAC. We appreciate this because most of our meetings were in person, but I definitely know that their participation led to a greater understanding of the complex issues regarding our school construction needs here in Frederick County. I felt that it was important for you to hear from me this morning and to know that our partnership with FCPS is very strong and we are in alignment as we come to you today. So thank you again for allowing me to speak to you briefly. And now I want to turn it over to Dr. Paul Lebo with Frederick County Public Schools, who will address our individual projects.
We want to thank you for taking the time to speak with us. Appreciate it. Dr. Lebo.
Good morning. As County Executive Fitzwater mentioned, I'm Paul Lebo. I'm the Chief Operating Officer for Frederick County Public Schools. Dr. Dyson sends her regrets. She had an unavoidable conflict this morning. As you can see by County Executive Fitzwater joining us this morning, Frederick County Public Schools and Frederick County government have a strong relationship, collectively committed to supporting the school facility needs of our students. As Executive Fitzwater stated, we are positioned to accelerate school construction. FCPS continues to grow each year. We currently have 19 schools operating at 100% of capacity, 5 of which are operating at over 120% of capacity. Our priority project is the construction of new elementary school number 41 to relieve capacity at Oakdale Elementary School, which is operating at 150% capacity and serves almost 1,200 students. We urge you to support staff recommendations for initial state funding and to provide local planning approval. Our county government has forward funded the design of this project so we can start construction sooner. While FCPS continues to struggle to meet our capacity needs, we also face an aging infrastructure of our school buildings. FCPS prioritizes schools with high facility condition indexes as our priority for modernization, either through replacement, complete renovation, or limited renovation. We ask for the IAC's support of staff recommendations to continue funding for the replacement of Middletown Elementary and Middle School into a co-located building. Unfortunately, the remaining project for FCPS did not have funding recommended. We asked for consideration of adding our next priority, the replacement of Brunswick High School. This is the first of a series of 3 high school replacements and a new high school that are needed in Frederick County. Our final major construction project in this year's request is the replacement of Liberty Elementary School, an almost 75-year-old building that has not had major renovation since its construction. The remaining systemic projects are also critical for FCPS to maintain an optimal learning environment for our students. FCPS continues to evaluate our educational specifications for new construction to ensure that schools are as efficient as possible, with an eye towards minimizing construction and lifetime operating costs. FCPS and Frederick County government continue to collaborate in traditional as well as innovative ways to address school facility needs, and our needs are significant. We urge the IAC to be a strong partner with FCPS and Frederick County government and fund our priority projects, as well as advocating for the needs to address school construction and renovation needs throughout the state. In closing, I too want to thank Commissioner Derenberg and Executive Director Donahue for participating in our school construction master plan working group. Commissioner Derenberg brought a unique perspective to the group and was able to offer valuable insight about the work of the IAC. Likewise, as usual, Mr. Donahue provided a wealth of information and support as the work group navigated questions about school construction funding. His expertise was instrumental in finalizing the recommendations for the legislature. Thank you, and we appreciate your time this morning.
Thank you, County Executive Fitzwater and Dr. Lebo. Any questions for our guest? Mr. Derenberg.
I do have to say, I was really, really impressed with the folks out in Frederick. Paul and Janice can pretty much finish each other's sentences. They're so in tune with what needs to be done for the school system. And I was very, very impressed with all of them. They know where they stand. They know what has to be done, and it seems like they don't waste any dollars whatsoever. And they try to get as much money for their students as possible. So I was truly, truly impressed. I was very thankful that I was included on that mission.
Thank you for volunteering and being there, representing us. We appreciate it. Well, thank you all very much for being with us. Have a nice day. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Garrett County Public Schools, Richard Wesolowski, if I pronounced that right. Is he with us, Cassandra?
Yes, Mr. Chair. I think there must be some technical difficulties.
There he is. There he is.
Am I on? I'm sorry.
Yes, sir.
Hi, good morning. My name is Richard Wesolowski. I'm Director of System Operations here for Garrett County Public Schools. On behalf of our Superintendent, Dr. Brendan McCartan, and our board members, I'm here today to appeal our request for the balance of our funding for our Southern Garrett Elementary project, which is currently underway here in the Oakland area. We appreciate the Commission's granted us the very large funding request last year, and we hope to obtain the balance of that to complete it for this year. The project is an IAC BTL combination project. It is a very large project for Garrett County here. We are dealing with underutilization, declining enrollment. So this project was to take Southern Middle School as part of a regrade banding, which we moved the 7th and 8th grade to Southern High School this year with a supported limited renovation from the IAC. To renovate the middle school as a pre-K to 6 elementary school as part. It's also a community school, concentration of poverty. We're using our community space for the Judy Center for Head Start. And we will then demolish Broadford, which is next door, eliminating that from our footprint, again, to deal with our underutilization. Also, as part of that, Broadford is still open space. So this project was also to eliminate the open space and obviously modernize the educational experience for our students. So we're really working hard on this strategic plan here in terms of regrade banding and trying to deal with the underutilization part. We're also looking at a plan as we go forward in our north, which we put in this time for some pre-planning on our northern campus. The superintendent's put together a proposal to our board to move Accident Elementary School 2 miles up the road and follow the same concept where we would do some limited renovations at Northern Middle, make that a pre-K to 7, and then move our 8th grade to the high school. Again, taking Accident also out of our footprint as a part of that underutilization strategy that we're trying to accomplish. And then we have 2 future elementary schools, which we've that need modernized. We started working with the IAC, at least on some discussions for that. I want to take this opportunity to commend Alex and his staff. They did take time to come all the way out to Garrett County and spend a day with us and tour some of the buildings and kind of talk through what's in our pipeline and just kind of see things firsthand. So again, I just take this opportunity to hope you support our appeal, and thank you for consideration.
Thanks for being with us today. Any questions for Mr. Wazalowski? Thank you very much. Have a nice day.
You too. Thank you.
Kent County Public Schools, Dr. Mary Boswell McComas, welcome. You're on mute still, I think, Doctor.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Chairman Kazmaier and members of the IAC. I'm Dr. McComas, the new superintendent in Kent County. Thank you for the opportunity this morning. I wish to express my deep appreciation for the support the IAC has provided to Kent County Public Schools for the replacement of our Kent County Middle School. The FY 2024 and 2025 allocations of $250,341 in public school construction program and $1,569,569 in the Built to Learn Act funding have allowed us to initiate our architect and engineering design phase. We appreciate the staff recommendation of $1,275,000 for the FY 2026 CIP, but hope to explain that the full amount of the funding request, $14 million, is justified by the project schedule and will be fully expanded within the fiscal year. We are highly appreciative of the involvement of the Maryland Stadium Authority, and the MSA has proven to be thoroughly and effective a partner with us on this project, conducting the selection process of our architecture and engineering services, and are currently in the process of identifying the construction manager at risk. With the engagement of Crabtree Robar Architects, our project is moving rapidly through the conceptual design phase. The schedule below, developed by our architect, shows that the guaranteed maximum price will be established in the autumn of 2025, with construction scheduled to begin in January of 2026. The Maryland Stadium Authority staff has confirmed that based on this schedule, the $14 million request is well justified. Replacement of our only Kent County Middle School facility is our single largest capital concern. The existing school was originally constructed in 1950 and last fully renovated in 1976, which is 48 years ago. It is deficient as a learning environment and has numerous building performance problems that make it financially burdensome to operate and maintain, and presents daily challenges ensuring a healthy, secure, and safe learning environment for our students and our staff. The educational specifications was developed through input from the educators, our community, and the MSDE Office of School Facilities. The educational specifications was followed by a feasibility study that allowed our Board of Education to consider 5 separate planning options. The approved solution, building a replacement school on the site of our existing school in Chestertown, will not only support the education of our students, but also Maryland's policies favoring investment of state and local capital funds into existing communities. The town of Chestertown will be enhanced by our new school, which will serve as a vivid symbol of the local dedication to progressive education. Starting from a master plan developed in 2018, KCPS has installed security vestibules in 5 schools. We've carried out partial renovations and building system upgrades at 2 elementary schools and replaced the roof of Kent County High School. This thorough sequential process has garnered the support of our community and the board of our county commissioners, who have shown their advocacy for our middle school project by allocating funding for the design effort. We have demonstrated that we are careful stewards of state and local funds, developing projects that significantly enhance the learning environment and building performance, working all the while within tight budgetary constraints. Our commitment to efficiency is shown by the receipt of grants in all 4 categories of the Maryland Energy Administration Decarbonization Schools Program. For the Kent County Middle School project, we are exploring additional grants that will enhance the budget and allow us to achieve a high-performance net zero energy facility. With the assistance of the Maryland Stadium Authority and the funding support of the IAC, we intend to continue this tradition of responsible facility management with our largest and most significant project, the replacement of our only Kent County Middle School. We ask for your support for the full funding amount of $14 million for the FY 2026 budget. Thank you for the opportunity this morning, and I'd like to extend an invitation if anyone would like to come and visit and see our facility for a middle school. We only have 1 middle school and 1 high school in this county, and so all students would benefit. All 5 of our schools additionally qualify for CEP. So thank you for the opportunity and happy holidays.
Thank you. Any questions for the superintendent? Thank you for being with us. You have a great holiday too.
Yes, sir.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Maryland School for the Blind, Mr. Robert Hare. Welcome.
Good morning, everybody. Members of the IAC, Chair Case Meyer and Executive Director Donahue. I am Rob Hare, the superintendent, and I can't say thank you enough, first of all, to Jean Shanholtz, all the members of the IAC for all of your support. Over the last 10 years or so at the School for the Blind, we've seen a transformation at the campus through the IAC. The campus is now accessible and transformed to serve our students, the Maryland's blind and low vision students, to be able to carry out federally mandated IEP services on the behalf of the state of Maryland. So thank you for this opportunity to present our appeal. We understand the complexity of the finances and the CIP process this year, but nevertheless, we'd like to present an appeal requesting $22 million in funding for FY26 to advance one of the final projects in our campus master plan, which is the athletics and security facilities at the MSB. This project encompasses a lap pool, a sensory pool, which we currently lack completely, no pool, also a gymnasium auditorium, centralized security offices, and a security upgrade at our main entrance, which is currently open and unguarded throughout the day. As I said, MSB is so close to finishing its campus master plan, this project being almost the last project. We're almost 90% of the way done. The remaining projects include some vocational facilities, which are minute compared to this project. The athletics portion of this project, which is significant in our educational program, is not just physical education, competitive sports, water safety skills in swimming, also performing arts in the gymnatorium, but also meets the complex medically fragile needs of our students, enhancing their physical therapy, occupational therapy, speech, language, and social skills and life skills development. The previous pool that we had was decommissioned several years ago due to severe deterioration, including leaks and structural damage, rendering it unsafe and unusable for our students. Utilizing off-campus swimming facilities are not feasible for us. It incurs significant costs and disrupts the use of our time in the school day, which is used for valuable time for school skills such as Braille, math, and reading. Safety and security concerns are another big part of this project, particularly given the unique vulnerabilities of our students. Traditional safety protocols such as run, hide, and fight do not work well for our students who are nonverbal or who use wheelchairs. They're very vulnerable in such situations, so having our front entrance upgraded so that we can stop people from entering the campus before they can get into the campus, and also having our campus security centrally located within the athletics facility to be able to act immediately and to deal with situations is really important for our campus security. MSB is also committed to fiscal responsibility through careful financial management. Over the past 2 years, we've refinanced our loans through MAHIFA, we've terminated our pension plan, we've maintained our endowment, increased our funding through our endowment very carefully. We're cautious about incurring additional debt. While the endowment provides a financial safety net for us, it is used for special projects such as capital expenses. It is reserved as a last resort as well. So with full transparency, the value of our endowment is around $71 million, but only about $45 million is used as unrestricted funds for such projects as capital expenses. With this project being around $62 million or so, a lower CIP award and extended reimbursement timelines would be untenable for our use of the endowment. We would be unable to fund and forward fund the construction. Our practice leaving 6 months of operating funds on hand in the endowment as a protective measure. The endowment could not even support bridge loans to forward fund the construction, causing MSB to indefinitely defer the project, which leads to construction escalation costs. Pandemic-related inflation, as you all know, caused accelerated inflation for construction. Even with a conservative estimate of 3% annually, deferring a $62 million project for even a year would increase costs by $1.86 million, for example, and 3 years compounded would increase costs by $5 to $6 million. And such delays would just be wasteful and financially burdensome, especially for a small school like ours. And
About
just
30
with,
seconds left, Superintendent.
thank you. So the completion of the athletics facility at MSP aligns directly with the state's priorities of promoting safety and accessibility and education, as well as supporting the therapeutic use of the space. And MSP allows the state to, again, to fulfill the federal mandates, provide specialized services and education to Maryland's fragile and visually impaired students across the state of Maryland. MSP, again, is grateful for IAC support and for our campus master plan. And we wish you all a happy holiday season, and thank you again for your support.
Thank you. Any questions for Mr. Hare? Thank you very much for being with us. Bye-bye. Next, from Montgomery County Public Schools, Adnan Mamoon. Welcome.
Thank you. Good morning. My name is Adnan Mamoon. I'm the Deputy Chief of Facilities Management for MCPS. We appreciate the opportunity to advocate for our state funding request for Montgomery County Public Schools this morning. I'm here on behalf of Dr. Thomas Taylor, our superintendent, who regrets not being able to attend this morning due to prior commitment. I would like to read out a statement from Dr. Taylor. Dear Chairperson Kassemeyer and members of the Commission, Montgomery County Public Schools has had a preliminary September 30th pre-K through 12th grade enrollment of 159,671 students, making it the largest public school system in the state of Maryland. While our countywide student enrollment has flattened since the global pandemic, we continue to have overutilization in many of our schools, as well as have critical infrastructure that is either at or beyond its useful lifespan. MCPS operates and maintains 211 school buildings, totaling more than 26 million square feet of space. To alleviate space constraints and replace aging infrastructure, MCPS has constructed 63 new or replacement buildings in the last 2 decades. With the need to provide permanent seats for certain school communities and to address aging infrastructure, funding for the state CIP continues to be a critical need for our school system. While local funding sources such as county general obligation bonds, current revenue, and the county's recordation and school impact taxes are the largest source of MCPS's capital budget revenue, we are heavily reliant on the state aid to move important capital infrastructure projects forward. We understand that the state is facing a challenging fiscal situation, and we are focusing our CIP and state aid request on keeping our major projects on track to address core capacity and aging infrastructure challenges in our school system. The state's continued support is vital to our school system's efforts to meet the basic programmatic and facility needs of our students and communities. We encourage the state to continue to review and update, where appropriate, the guideline for school construction to reflect programmatic and environmental changes that impact our school facilities. MCPS, the Board of Education, and the Montgomery County Council would like to acknowledge the support and collaboration from our state partners that we have received in the past, as well as the guidance we're receiving to resolve the Charles W. Woodward state aid eligibility issues. We look forward to continuing and increasing our collaboration with you, and we appreciate your efforts to ensure MCPS has sufficient space to meet the needs of our student population and adequate facilities to support our educational programs. Thank you for your consideration of our state aid request. And thank you for your time this morning.
Thank you for being with us. Have a good day. Take care. Appreciate it. From Queen Anne's County, we have Patricia Salins and Sid Piper. Welcome.
Oh, actually, it's Patty Salins and Daryl Barraclough.
Oh, Daryl, okay.
Yeah, so good morning, members of the commission. As he said, Patty Salins, Superintendent of Queen Anne's County Public Schools, and thank you for this opportunity to speak to you all about Queen Anne's County. The 2025 school year has been moving quickly, as we know, and it's hard to believe that we're headed out for winter break tomorrow, so we know that spring is right around the corner. Queen Anne's County Public School has continued to implement our strategic goals and have taken time along the way to celebrate our progress. As a matter of fact, we celebrate our Lady Lions, who are state champions in soccer. That's amazing.
Oh, congratulations.
Thank you. We celebrate our amazing representation in the arts at all of the state competitions. We celebrate record participation in dual enrollment and so much more. Our focus is on the whole child, and that helps us to meet students' needs and promote their full potential. So I say thank you to the IAC for your continued support to assist us in creating an environment where our students can shine. We look forward to your continued support of our upcoming projects. And now I'd like to go ahead and kick it over to Daryl, who is our Supervisor of Facilities.
Good morning. Echoing Dr. Salen's comments, Queen Anne's County Public Schools is extremely grateful for the support from the IAC and our past CIP endeavors. Placing numeric priorities on the 5 projects in our FY26 CIP has been somewhat challenging. Each project stands on its own as a priority 1 project, solving problems of indoor air quality, safety and security, or the continued preservation of our existing school facilities. The systemic HVAC renovation at Kennard Elementary School will solve many environmental issues presently being experienced at the school. This project will provide consistent indoor temperatures and improve indoor air quality by bringing the system up to current ASHRAE and code standards. It will also relieve the burden that QACPS presently sees trying to repair and maintain outdated and obsolete equipment. The replacement of the aluminum doors and windows at Bayside Elementary School is a project that was deferred from previous CIPs. This project will ensure that staff and students are in a safe and secure facility while improving the building's energy efficiency. The replacement of Kent Island Elementary School's fire alarm is necessary to maintain a safe school and ensure compliance with applicable life safety codes. Finally, the 2 replacement projects of Mattapique and Kennard Elementary Schools will help Queen Anne's County Public Schools preserve these facilities by ensuring their exterior envelope is secure and eliminating mold, mildew, and potential material degradation. Thank you again for allowing QACPS to provide a written testimony last week and appearing before you today. We look forward to hearing back from you.
Happy holidays.
Thank you.
Same to you. Thanks for being with us. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Have a question.
I'm sorry. Wait a minute.
Sure.
Mr. Derenberg.
So I'm just interested in the fire safety. You have a system that works or doesn't work, or what is happening with that?
Correct. We do have a current system. It is functioning. The issue that we're having is the replacement parts are obsolete and not able to be procured. So we're looking to provide a new system that ties in with the other systems that we've been replacing. We typically replace a systemic fire alarm every year in our CIP. This year in our FY25, we're currently doing 2 schools. We're doing Queen Anne's County High School and Kennard Elementary School fire alarms. So we're trying to basically go through the entire school system and bring them up to current standards as well as eliminate these obsolete systems.
And they'll all be tied together then?
They will be all tied together. Yes. Yes,
but
sir.
Currently they're not.
They're not reporting as a current system because they're all different manufacturers. And what we're trying to do is bring them all up to one consistent manufacturer that then reports under one system through our maintenance folks. Then they'll get alerts as far as troubles and that sort of thing and can respond quicker with the materials that they need to restore the system.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Certainly.
Thank you.
Thank you again. Bye-bye.
Yeah.
Thank
Bye.
you.
From Somerset County, Jonathan Hill. Thank you. Welcome.
Good morning. Thank you, Chairman Kazmaier. My name is Jonathan Hill. I'm the supervisor of capital planning, facilities, maintenance, security, and procurement. We do a lot down here with a little. I'm here today on behalf of Somerset County Public Schools to advocate for the approval of our proposed capital improvement plan. These initiatives are critical for ensuring that our educational facilities meet standards necessary to provide safe, equitable, high-quality learning environments for our students who represent the future of Somerset County and the state of Maryland. It's a historically rich county, yet we're an economically challenged community with steadfast commitment to education. And despite this dedication, our school facilities have faced profound challenges that impede the delivery of optimal educational services. We have an aging infrastructure. The mean age of our school buildings surpasses 40 years. Many facilities are exhibiting structural and systemic deficiencies that render them incompatible with modern educational demands and standards. In our plan this year, we're asking for requests that would help us combat outdated HVAC systems, deteriorating plumbing, antiquated electrical frameworks that not only disrupt daily operations, but also exacerbate inefficiencies and inflate our operational cost extremely. We also have critical safety issues, including leaking roofs, substandard air quality, insufficient fire suppression systems. They compromise the well-being of students and staff alike. We also have existing environmental hazards such as mold and residual asbestos, further underscoring the urgent need for this remediation and modernization. We do have a moderately rising enrollment, but due to demographic shifts, we have overcrowded facilities in some areas, while others lack specialized instructional spaces essential for contemporary practices such as STEM laboratories, inclusive classrooms that are tailored for our students with special needs and comprehensive needs. We also are economically challenged. Somerset County endures the highest poverty rate in the state of Maryland, with approximately 22% of residents living below the poverty threshold. This places us in a situation with disproportionate burdens on our schools. They're often not only schools, but they're lifelines. They provide services such as nutrition, stability to families, and community support. So public investment in our educational infrastructure is paramount to mitigating these socioeconomic disadvantages and fostering equity. These enhanced facilities will not only bridge these existing gaps, but empower students from marginalized backgrounds to achieve academic and social success. We thank you for the funding that we have already received concerning our Chrisfield Academy and High School, and look forward to that and continued funding. However, we have projects such as the Greenwood Elementary and Princess Anne Elementary School combination and new school construction project that would greatly benefit us by consolidating our resources, which are already overburdened, and it would also deliver a state-of-the-art educational environment equipped with advanced technology for our students. Both of those schools are all over their state-rated capacity now and are suffering systemic deficiencies. We are also looking for the expansion of our intermediate school. We are looking to construct a new wing there that would allow a grade band shift in our 8th grades to leave our academy and high schools, providing additional space within our high schools, extending their life, while at the same time providing for renovation and extension of systemic repairs while creating that additional space for our 8th grade band shift. We're looking at renovation of Washington Academy and High School, another school where systemic repairs are necessary, including HVAC and other mechanical, electrical, and plumbing, along with security needs as far as vestibules and security systems. And then we're looking for a feasibility study to work on Carter G. Woodson Elementary School, who has some construction and deficiencies. We are looking at that because of the subsidence in the area. I don't know if anyone's familiar with Chrisfield, Maryland, but we are a low-lying area. So we need to look at that. We're looking at these projects for the enhanced educational environment, operational efficiencies, social revitalization of our community. We're looking at providing for the economically and socially disadvantaged families that reside here in Somerset County. I guess really what I want to tell you is that we've heard a lot about funding from different sources and county governments who participate and show venues for ways to get things done, but we don't have those things. We are a maintenance of effort district. We work on what we can survive on, and without the IEC's continued support, these projects will not be feasible. Our deferred maintenance log will continue to grow, and these systemic issues that present themselves now will become emergency issues down the road that will require funding beyond what we can request in advance.
30 seconds, Mr. Hill.
I appreciate your consideration today, and please take into account our need. And if you have any questions, I'd be more than happy to answer them.
Thanks, Mr. Hill. Any questions? How many students do you have?
2,773 currently, sir.
Okay. Thank you for being with us today.
All right. Come on down and see us sometime.
Yeah, I was in Chrisfield last summer.
Were you really? Were you there for the clam bake or just visiting?
Just visiting.
All right. Well, stop by and see us. Thank you.
Take care.
Have a good day.
You too. St. Mary's County, Kim Howe.
Good morning to the commission and the IAC staff. I am Kim Howe. I am the Director of Capital Planning, and I bring greetings on behalf of the commissioners, the Board of Education, and all of our students and staff at St. Mary's County. We have provided written testimony and documentation with photographs, so I'm not going to recap all of that for you. You have that at your disposal. As you've heard from all of my fellow LEAs across the county, funding is a real issue, and we understand that, and we appreciate the challenges that are faced by the commission and the IAC staff. What I want to talk about is the single project that we have within our 6-year CIP for the next 2 to 3 years, which is Chaptacon High School. We've been working in collaboration with our commissioners and the IAC staff for the last 5 or 6 years, understanding the magnitude of this project being the largest project that St. Mary's will have ever undertaken. The project started originally as a limited renovation, and given the scope and as we continue to work through the development of the project, we realized that given the fiscal constraints and the needs that we have for other schools that have currently been deferred for HVAC and roof to accommodate this project, that we needed to scale it back to a multi-systemic renovation. IAC staff has been instrumental in working with us, in particular, Jean Shanholtz and Melissa Wilfong have really helped us and guide this program as we've moved forward. IAC staff, including Mr. Donahue, came and visited the site with us. And I think through that process, we have a very good understanding of what needs to happen. We have taken a look at every bit of funding source we have, and we're being very creative in the process of approving this project moving forward. We have reserved $13 million. It's our last bit of our Built to Learn Act funding that we're going to utilize for this. And we will be submitting for healthy schools, and then we'll be relying on our targeted allocation of traditional CIP. We are very supportive and appreciative of the $4.3 million that is recommended at the 75%. We need $1 million more to hit our target allocation, and we are requesting that for our next round. When it really comes down to this, what we tried to do was find a way to fund this project over the next 3 years using our target allocation, healthy schools, and Built to Learn. With your support, if we can hit that target allocation this year, we'll be well on our way to starting this project. We're really focusing on everything that's going to take this 1964 building, the portion of it, and make it last for another 25 to 40 years. We're talking roof, we're talking HVAC, we're talking building envelope, all of the things we need to keep it functioning. We appreciate your support. We understand the challenge, and we are, again, requesting the $1 million as part of our appeal to get to our target allocation. If you have any questions, I am more than willing to answer those. Do know that the commissioners, we just had a recent work session, have made this their priority, and they are looking within their own CIP to find ways to make sure that they can make this happen. They've looked at tax revenue, and they've looked at deferring some of their own projects out. So it is a top priority for us and the singular project that we have.
Thank you. Any questions for Ms. Howe? Thank you very much for being with us.
Happy holidays, everyone.
You too. And now from Culver County, Suchita Warner. Welcome.
Thank you, Mr. Passmeyer. We have Dr. Townsell with us too to provide some opening remarks. I'll let him start.
Thank you. Good morning. I'm Dr. Andre Townsell, Superintendent of Calvert County Public Schools. Thank you for the opportunity to appear before members of the IAC today to highlight Calvert County's capital project needs so that we can continue to provide the best environment possible for our students to excel in academics, athletics, and the arts. We are excited to share that Calvert County Public Schools recently moved up from 5th best school district in Maryland to 4th place according to niche. While the rankings is a result of multiple factors, it is undeniable that our continuous improvement of campuses and new state-of-the-art school facilities play a quintessential part in our staff fostering learning environments that ensure student success. It is therefore imperative that we seize on the success and continue improving and expanding our learning environments to provide Calvert County students with the great foundation to build their future. We greatly appreciate the support that the IAC has provided Calvert County in the past. We are pleased to share that we held the dedication ceremony for Beach Elementary School, our second LEED Silver building, on December 8th with the Beach Elementary staff and communities. This would not have been possible without the critical financial support from the IAC over the last several years. We are also excited to share that our next major project, Northern Middle School's replacement, has come within budget. The groundbreaking ceremony is scheduled for January 16th, and we plan to begin construction soon after. This milestone would not only have been possible without the support of the IAC And at this time, I'd like to turn the mic over to Ms. Shuchita Warner, our Director of School Construction, who will share information about our specific requests related to FY26 CIP. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Townsell. Echoing Dr. Townsell's words, we really appreciate the opportunity to appear before you today to discuss and review Calvert's funding request for the FY 2026 Capital Improvement Program. We have a total of 4 projects that encompass our FY 2026 CIP. We do appreciate the IAC staff's 75% recommendations to provide partial funding towards our Priority 1 project. Today, though, we'd like to take an opportunity to highlight the critical importance of all of our project requests. Our Priority 1 project request is for continuation of construction funding for Northern Middle School's replacement. As Dr. Townsell just stated, the Northern Middle School replacement project has come in within budget. The GMP proposal was recently approved by our Board of Education, and we are gearing up for the start of construction very soon in 2025. The 18-month timeframe for construction of the new building is reflected in our cash flow projection that was provided with our CIP submission. Therefore, it is critical that our full FY 2026 request of $8,033,801 be funded by the IAC so the funding can keep pace with the construction. Our second request is for the second year of funding for the HVAC systemic renovation project at Mary Harrison Center, which is part of Northern High School. We are grateful for the partial funding for the $338,000 in state funding that was received last year, which replaces the existing air handling unit serving the auditorium space original to the 1985 construction, but more importantly provides an independent heating plant for the building, which currently relies on the existing Northern Middle School's boilers. This project eliminates reliance on Northern Middle School's heating plant, especially considering Northern Middle's impending replacement. Our request for the second year of state CIP funding is $245,686. I will note that since bids have already been received for this project, we have requested a maximum state allocation increase for this project, requesting the utilization of the funds in our reserves account. This will be further in your agenda. If that is approved, we will take this project off of our CIP priority list. Our third request is for an HVAC systemic renovation project at Sunderland Elementary School that replaces the air handlers, associated terminal units, and controls that are original to the 38-year-old building. The scope
30
also—
seconds, Shashida.
I'm sorry? 30
seconds.
Okay, thank you. The scope also includes replacement of the fossil fuel-fired original boilers with electric boilers that does require an electrical service upgrade from the utility. The building automation controls and boiler electrification are being funded through an MEA decarbonization grant, but these funds are contingent on the work being completed by summer 2026. Because these scopes of work are intertwined, it is imperative that we receive our full state CIP request of $784,000 in order to move forward on this $2.6 million project. Thanks to state CIP funding for design that we received in FY 2024, the design is nearly complete and ready for the 95% DGS submission. Our fourth and final request is a repeat systemic renovation project at Plum Point Middle School. It has to do with existing curtain wall and skylight assemblies that are deteriorating, that are original to the 1992 building. This is the second year in a row that we've requested CIP funds for this project. We have the local funds allocated in FY 2025. So we are requesting the state share of $539,000 so we can move forward with this project. So in closing, we appreciate the support that the IAC has given to Calvert County in the past. Your continued support will absolutely ensure that Calvert County can provide a safe, healthy, and well-maintained set of facilities for our staff and students. And we thank you for your time.
Thank you all for being with us, Doctor. Any questions? Thank you all very much for being with us. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Okay, Arabia, do you want to repeat the motion? And then we'll.
Mr. Chair, if I might make a quick comment before we go to the motion.
Yeah, I can't hear you too well. Go ahead. Go ahead. You're okay.
It's a little better. Okay. Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'd just like to make a brief comment about a number of the appeals that we've just heard. A number of them spoke about how their requests this year in the CIP for funding for specific projects that are currently underway were for a certain amount of money, and that the 75% does not appear to include awards that would get up to or even close to the requested amounts that the school district needs in order to avoid forward funding by the county of the state share in this year's expenditures as the project proceeds. We're very, very intimately aware of the cash flow challenges facing a number of the school districts, particularly the smaller school districts with large projects that are requiring quite a bit of money each year to support the construction work. This is a problem facing a number of the districts. And we have, over the last few weeks, compiled information about those specific projects and submitted that information to the Department of Budget and Management and to the legislative leadership so that they are aware of the magnitude of the cash flow challenges and needs facing the school districts, and to support our requests for additional CIP funding appropriations this year above the typical 280, 300 million. Again, we will not know what outcome we'll receive from these requests and submitted data, but we have done everything that we have seen possible to inform the decision makers around the funding needs to support these projects. And obviously, if we are able to receive more appropriations than typically expected, we will be in a far better position to recommend greater funding to those projects and other projects as well in February or May. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Yeah, this is, as Alex said, a message we took to the president and the speaker. Alex presented the situation he just described to them to realize some of these counties can't afford to, they don't have the money to do what they would like to do for school construction. I also wanted to say, I really appreciated some of the representatives mentioning how closely some of the IAC staff has worked with the counties to make their wishes come true in terms of figuring out their portfolio and helping them with their construction program. I really do appreciate it. Ravi, you want to make that motion again so we can take action?
Yes, sir. The motion is to approve the recommended fiscal year 2026 75% capital improvement program, preliminary awards and planning approvals as presented in the summary of 75% recommendation details by project included in this item, contingent upon appropriations in the FY 2026 state capital budget and final approval of the 100% FY 2026 capital improvement program by the IAC in May 2025. Further, to authorize IAC staff to make adjustments to project allocations to avoid over and underfunding of a project. Approval of projects with a U status is contingent upon resolution of outstanding issues.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Would someone like to make that motion, please? Mr. Derenberg, second by Mr. Boyd. Any more discussion? Cassandra, or you want to call the roll on this motion, please? Okay, she's probably not right there.
Yes, Mr. Chair. Sorry, give me 1 second. Courtney League as designee for Secretary Chaudhry.
Approved.
Mr. Derenberg.
Approved.
Vice Chair Eberhardt. Chuck Boyd as designee for Secretary Flora. Mr. Boyd. Oh, I saw your lips say approved, but we didn't hear you. We're going to count that as a yes. Thank you, Mr. Boyd. Mr. Gibbons.
Approved.
Ms. Lala. Is absent. Krishna Talur as designee for Dr. Wright,
Approved.
and Chair Casemeyer.
Yes, thank you. Okay, item 5, adoption of final COMAR revisions on state rated capacity. Victoria Howard and Cassandra.
Good morning, Mr. Chair, Madam Vice Chair, and members of the Commission.
Good
At
morning.
the August 8th, 2024 IAC meeting, the Commission voted to approve the proposed change to COMAR 14390205, which specified the requirements of cooperative use spaces in school buildings. The IAC passed this motion unanimously. IAC staff submitted this proposal for publication in the Maryland Register, and the revisions were published for the requisite 30-day public comment period. IAC staff received no public comment on this proposed change. If approved, these revisions will be official 10 days after publication of this final approval in the Maryland Register. I'll now read the motion, which is to adopt the final COMAR revisions as published in the October 4th, 2024 Maryland Register, Volume 51, Issue 20, pages 889 through 914.
Thank you, Victoria. I hear a motion. Mr. League and Mr. Boyd seconds. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye, raise your hands. Any opposed? Thank you. Item 6, COMAR proposed action. Cassandra?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. We've mentioned several times that the IAC is working on preparing an updated APG that will come to the IAC for review in February and hopefully for adoption in March. As we're working on that, there are several frequently used terms and processes that have been added that were not previously addressed in the IAC's APG or COMAR. So we are bringing this item to you today to make some preliminary COMAR revisions to align those two documents. Terms that are no longer in use or have been replaced with terms that are used by LEAs in the IAC or that we're proposing to be replaced include renewal, project development and design, and capital maintenance. Additionally, the changes included in this item provide necessary context not currently included in COMAR, specifically regarding the submission of feasibility studies and pedestrian safety plans. The draft also addresses the circumstances by which a leased facility may be eligible for construction funding. These changes will ensure that upon review of the new APG draft in February with adoption in March, hopefully, the terms used in the APG and COMAR are consistent with one another, and all documented processes and requirements included in the APG have been outlined in COMAR as well. Please note that this is only a preliminary adoption, as Victoria just described for the last item. If this is approved, the changes will be published in the Maryland Register and will be available to the public for a public comment period of at least 30 days before returning to the Commission for final approval. The motion, Mr. Chair, is to approve amendments to COMAR 143901 and 02 that amend language within regulation to align with current agency practice, to renumber the provisions of COMAR 143901 and 02 as needed to accommodate the amendments proposed herein, and to authorize IAC staff to make technical and non-substantive edits as needed.
Okay. I want to thank Heidi too for helping out with these last two items. There here a motion. Ms. Everhart and Mr. League seconds. Any questions? All in favor say aye, raise your hands. Any opposed? Okay, item 7. This is an item I think that the lady from Calvert County was talking about. FY 2025 and 2026 CIP funding adjustments and maximum state award increase, Calvert County Public Schools. Lisa?
Good morning, Mr. Chair, Madam Vice Chair, and members of the Commission. Calvert County Public Schools informed the IEC staff that the Northern High School Air Handling Units project needed additional state funding that was awarded in the FY 2025 CIP to move forward. The project was originally estimated in September 2023, and it became clear during the design process in January 2024 that the original budget was not sufficient to cover the cost of the project scope. The LEA submitted a request for additional funding in the FY 2026 CIP to cover the anticipated higher cost. Bids were received on December 3rd, 2024, and the LEA determined $229,103 was the needed amount to fully fund the project. Per COMAR 14390208, the IAC sets the maximum state award in the State Capital Improvement Program. The LEA may increase the maximum state award for a systemic renovation project when the LEA has available reserve funding and when the LEA submits the bid tabulation for the project and the IAC determines the requested scope of work is eligible for state funding and the scope of work and associated cost are reasonable. Staff of the IAC have reviewed the bid tab and are in full support of the LEA's request to increase the maximum state award for this project. To have the funds available for this request, CCPS would like to revert $281,120 from the Plum Point Middle School HVAC replacement project into their reserve account. These funds are available for reversion due to the project coming in under the original estimate at the time of contract award. If the maximum state award increase is approved, the Northern High School Air Handling Units project no longer needs additional funding through the FY 2026 CIP, so the LEA is requesting to rescind it from their FY 2026 CIP submission. I will now read the motion, which is to revert the unneeded funds from Calvert County's Plum Point Middle School HVAC replacement project in the amount of $281,120 to the LEA's reserve account, to increase the maximum state award for the Northern High School Air Handling Units project from $383,800 to $567,903 in accordance with COMAR 14390208, and to transfer $229,103 from the LEA's reserve funds to the FY 2025 capital improvement project, and to withdraw the request for funding for the Calvert County Northern High School Air Handling Units project from the FY 2026 capital improvement program.
Thank you, Lisa. Do I hear a motion to that effect, please? Mr. Derenberg and Ms. Everhart seconds. Any discussion? All in favor, raise your hands or say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, item 8. FY 2025 Capital Improvement Program Amendment, Somerset County Public Schools, Chrisfield Academy and High School, HVAC Door Windows Project. Sharon Johnson.
You're muted, Sean. Mr. Chair, Sean's going to present this item.
Okay.
Thank you for that, Cassandra. Good morning, Mr. Chair, Madam Vice Chair, members of the Commission. After evaluating school construction needs at Chrisfield Academy and High School, Somerset County has determined that additional modifications to the scope of work were necessary. To address the change in scope, the local education agency has requested approval to rescind the early planning and design services funding awarded through the fiscal year 2025 CIP for the multi-systemic project at this school, and to transfer those funds to the LEA's reserve account. In addition, the LEA is seeking approval to change the fiscal year 25 CIP project category from multi-systemic to a limited renovation, which will provide the LEA with the flexibility to address the updated project scope. With this requested change, the LEA would like to apply the funding from the reserve account to move forward with the development and design of the limited renovation project. Lastly, Somerset County has submitted a contract for design services. The IAC approval of that contract is also being requested. I will now read the motion, which is to approve the Somerset County Public Schools request to cancel the Chrisfield Academy High School multi-systemic project design services contract of $1,802,500 awarded to the Becker Morgan Group Inc. Rescind the fiscal 2025 capital improvement program project development, design, and construction funding awarded for the Chrisfield Academy and High School multi-systemic project totaling $3,933,576 and transfer those funds to the LEA's reserve account. Amend the fiscal year 2025 CIP to include the Chrisfield Academy and High School limited renovation project, award $1,819,722 from the LEA's reserve account for project development and design services, and award $2,113,584 from the LEA's reserve account for construction. And finally, to approve the contract for the Chrisfield Academy High School limited renovation project for design services to Becker Morgan Group Inc., architectural consultants for the project, with a total amount of $1,802,500 and a 100% state share.
Thank you, Sean. Do I hear a motion to that effect? Mr. League makes a motion, Mr. Boyd seconds. Any discussion on this? All in favor, say aye, or raise your hand. Any opposed? Thank you. Item 9, Built to Learn funding request, Allegheny County Public Schools, Washington Middle School, Early Childhood Center Edition. Terry?
Good morning, Mr. Chair, Madam
Good morning.
Vice Chair, members of the Commission. Allegheny County Public Schools is requesting their full Built to Learn appropriation of $6,937,020 to construct an Early Childhood Center addition at Washington Middle School. Based on the LEA's requested scope and the state cost share of 94%, including the concentration of poverty add-on of 5%, the maximum state award for the project totals $19.8 million, which will be used to accommodate surrounding elementary schools. This project is being jointly funded through the BTL and the CIP. Earlier today, the IAC approved the recommendations at the 75% round and is one of many projects that were approved for partial funding. The expectation is that the balance of funding will be awarded through a future CIP fiscal year. I will now read the motion, which is to approve Allegheny County Public Schools request for Built to Learn construction funding for the Early Childhood Center addition project totaling $6,937,020 at Washington Middle School.
Thank you, Terry. Do I hear a motion? Ms. Everhart, motion, Mr. League seconds. Any discussion? I think Melissa was involved in this project too, and I want to thank her.
And Jean.
And Jean, thank you. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye, or raise your hands.
Aye.
Any opposed? Item 10, FY 2024 Healthy School Facility Fund Rescission and Reallocation Request, Frederick County Public Schools. John?
Good morning again.
Good morning.
Frederick County Public Schools has requested to amend the fiscal year 2024 Healthy School Facility Fund by reverting the funding from the Whittier Elementary School Packaged Thermal Air Conditioning Project to the Urbana Elementary School Cooling Tower Project. This request will utilize the $66,500 from the Whittier Elementary School PTAC project cancellation to provide additional state funding for the Urbana Elementary School Cooling Tower Project, which received higher than expected bids. I will now read the motion, which is to rescind the Frederick County Public Schools Whittier Elementary School Packaged Thermal Air Conditioner Replacement Project through the fiscal year 24 Healthy School Facility Fund, and to revert awarded funding in the amount of $66,500 to the Statewide Reserve Fund, and to allocate $66,500 in statewide reserve funds for Healthy School Facility Fund to the Frederick County Public School Urbana Elementary School Cooling Tower Replacement Project, increasing the project award from $157,500 to $224,000.
Thank you, Sean. Do I hear a motion? Mr. Boyd and Mr. League seconds. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye, or raise your hands. Any opposed? Thank you very much. Item 11, FY 2023 Healthy School Facility Fund Revision and Extension Request, Wycomico County Public Schools, Wycomico High School roof. Sean again.
Sir. Wycomico County Public Schools has requested to amend the fiscal year 2023 Healthy School Facility Fund by applying additional funds from the statewide reserve to address the higher than anticipated bid costs and allow the project to be completed. Reallocation of statewide reserve funds to previously approved healthy school projects is allowable per the Healthy School Facility Fund APG revisions approved at the November 14th, 2024 IAC meeting. Additionally, for this project, IAC staff are requesting extensions of the fiscal year 2023 Healthy School Facility Fund deadlines for expenditure of funds from April 1st, 2025 to November 1st, 2025, and the submission of reimbursement requests from May 1st, 2025 to December 1st, 2025. This project was also awarded fiscal year 24 CIP funds, and IAC staff utilized the fiscal 24 CIP funds prior to the Healthy School funds for LEA reimbursement. Accordingly, the IAC staff are requesting these deadline extensions to support our project counting. This will also allow the Wacomico High School roof Phase 3 project to be completed during the summer of 2025 on schedule. I will now read the motion, which is to increase the funding award for Wacomico High School roof project, originally approved as part of the fiscal year 2025 Healthy School Facility Fund cycle, from $6,016,820 to $7,022,114, and to transfer the balance of funds of $1,005,294 from the available Healthy School Facility Funds held in the statewide reserve to the project, and to extend the project's 2025 Healthy School Facility Fund deadlines for the substantial expenditure of funds to November 1st, 2025, and for the submission of reimbursement requests to December 1st, 2025.
Thank you, Sean. Someone like to make that motion, please? Mr. Boyd and Ms. Everhart seconds. Any discussion? Questions? All in favor say aye or raise your hands. Any opposed? Okay, item 12. Gross area baseline variance, Kent County Public Schools, Kent County Middle School replacement project. Lisa?
Good morning again.
Morning.
COMAR allows for the IAC to adjust gross area baseline square footage on a case-by-case basis based on unique circumstances documented and supported by LEAs. Kent County Public Schools is requesting a GAB variance for the Kent County Middle School replacement project. In April of this year, we presented to you for approval a GAB variance for Northern Middle School in Calvert County. Reviewing the information provided by KCPS along with the program requirements, we were able to analyze this project with the same approach that was used on Northern Middle School, with Kent County Middle School being an even smaller size middle school. It was determined that additional square footage is warranted to support the project. This determination was based on a few factors. Middle school programming emphasizes the use of a team-based structure to provide transitional support for students leaving the elementary school environment but not yet ready for the high school environment. This includes scheduling that allows students to function as a unit as they move through their core classrooms and specialty programs, as well as the school's architectural layout that supports separation of students of vastly different maturity. Due to the team-based structure of the program, as well as the lower number of students attending Kent County Middle School, the core classrooms are more typically used at a 75% utilization versus the 85% utilization that was anticipated in the development of the gross area baseline and is so often more easily achieved in larger middle schools. In addition, specialty classrooms with specialty equipment are still required in order to deliver the same quality of education as a larger middle school. Again, due to the lower number of students attending Kent County Middle School, this results in lower utilization of those spaces. Because of these considerations, the IAC staff recommend approval of additional 5,233 gross square feet for the project, which results in an estimated increase to the maximum state award of $1,776,000, which will be finalized upon award of first-time construction funding, which is expected in the FY 2026 CIP. I will now read the motion, which is to approve a gross area baseline variance request for an additional 5,233 gross square feet at Kent County's Kent County Middle School, resulting in an estimated increase to the maximum state award of $1,776,000 based upon the IAC's current funding factors.
Thank you, Lisa. Do I hear a motion? Mr. Boyd and second by Mr. Derenberg. Any discussion? All in favor of the motion say aye or raise your hands. Any opposed? Okay. This was a unique solution to a problem in Kent County, right, Alex? You're built to learn. Okay.
Yeah. Oh, there's a question, I believe.
Ms. Everhart.
Ms. Everhart.
Well, I just want to thank the IAC for the flexibility that you have in making these decisions, which we're seeing is needed in many counties depending upon their needs. So thank you so much for that flexibility that you're giving to Kent County and other counties as you look at their unique problems and challenges.
I agree, Linda. Thank you. Would anybody like to make any other comments before we adjourn? I just want to say, sort of the same as Linda, that I just wanted to thank and congratulate Alex and his entire staff for dealing with these counties in such a one-on-one way in terms of all the complex problems they present and the unique solutions that Alex and his staff have come up with. And they've done, I think, a great job. I want to let them know that we appreciate what they've done.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Sure. By the way, we will not have a January meeting. No meeting in January. Give the staff a break a little bit to catch up. With that, I want to wish all of you a very Merry Christmas and a happy holidays, and thank the commission for your patience and cooperation. It's been a good year. Do I hear a motion that we adjourn? Mr. Derenberg, have a good time in the Hamptons.
I'll try.
Yeah, I'm sure you will. And Ms. Everhart seconds. All in favor of the motion? Okay, we stand adjourned. Thank you all very much.